Hey everyone. So, for the past few weeks, I've been thinking about the future of AI and how MCPs have been extremely relevant in this new era of AI, right? And there's many people that are against and pro MCPs. And I'm one of those people that think that it's a great idea. But the issue with MCPs is that although they provide an easy way and out of the box way to connect to different integrations, it it has a huge downside, which is um, eliminating the power that or the possibilities for AI to truly create code in real time and use all of their creativity and flexibility to query the data or the information needed, right? Because they have to go through these MCPs that are hard coded. Now, the question that arises is how can we build this middle layer that allows AI to be flexible and creative in real time, but provide the security that AI needs and that it will need because AI is getting better and better. So the question is, how can we give them that flexibility, but having the security in place and the observability in place that gives us humans a peace of mind? So what I'm going to show you is the Datagran approach to this. Basically, what we build is a layer that we call AIC. And the AIC layer, what gives users is the power to provide AI with the full flexibility to just query any data source. So we are providing those connections to those data sources. We're providing the knowledge to the AI, allowing them to have full flexibility, but at the same time, providing the user, the human, the observability that we need, and at the same time, the controls that we need. And that observability and control is not just hard coded, it's also built with AI, where we can have synthetic personas or evaluators that where we can just assign a specific personality to the incoming query or the output so that those synthetic personas can also flag or not the specific query the AI is making. And the reason this is extremely important is because as companies adopt AI, for example, many of the internal clients are going to start using all of these AI agents, call it from Replit, Lovable, Claude, ChatGPT, or whatever. And the question is, who's observing all of that, right? Who's providing the control to all of that? And I think that instead of constraining employees or users with what AI they can use or not, I think the solution to this is, hey, use whatever you want, use whatever you feel comfortable with, but everything has to go through this AIC layer for observability and control. And I'm going to just show you a very quick example of how these work. So what we're going to try now is a select operation to my database. Basically, I have a Postgre SQL database. I have some users there. And what I want to try first is just a select operation to see if that user exists. Basically, that user has an email called testdatagran@gmail.com. I'm going to send that query, and we're going to see what happens. And then we're going to send a delete operation to see if all the policies and the evaluator get the appropriate risk result, right? So I'm just going to run this query. And we're going to see in real time, as you can see here, how the query came in right away. And as you can see, this one just have like a medium risk tolerance. And I'm just going to click on this, and you're going to be able to see all the data. First of all, you're going to see the risk evaluation. And the cool thing about this is that is AI, in this case, GPT-4o Mini, analyzing in real time the query, right? So as you can see, it says, hey, it's accessing sensitive user data. That's why the score is 7. It has the potential for SQL injections if parameters are not sanitized, and multiple parameters increase the complexity of the validation. Here we have the request summary, which is the SQL that I sent, the response summary, which was basically one row, which is basically the user, and then we see the whole pipeline, right? From where we check the policy, we went from the proxy to the AIC, then it checked the policy, then the LLM checked the risk, then after the policy, it went back to the AIC, and then et cetera, it went to Postgre. We also have the latency here, which in this case was almost 4 seconds, which is of course a little bit more of a complex query, of course. Now, We also have the policies. Sorry, if I go back to the observability, you're going to see that we also have a request flow. We have here the proxies, we have the AIC, and we have the provider as well. And we see all the flows of the requests. Of course, as you have more requests from different sources, you're going to be able to visualize all of that. And we also have a request map where the AIC is basically in San Francisco, and then that proxy request came from Florida, Weston specifically, where the status is succeeded. And here we have all the live feed. But then we also have all the policies, right? So in the policies, what we have here is that we can set monitors or enforce rules based on the risk thresholds. You can provide here an allowed list. You can include blocked keywords, like, for example, delete command. And that's exactly what we're going to test in a little bit to see if this kicks in. But also, we have the evaluators, right? So this evaluator is basically trying to monitor if there are things in the data, like, for example, passport, social security information. And if this evaluator catches any of this, it can send a message into your Slack with that flag, right? Like, hey, somebody's trying to access information that contains passport information or social security information, right? So we have these evaluator active, and this is what I was mentioning, that these act as synthetic personas, right? You can do whatever you want here because you can include your prompt, and you can evaluate either a response or a request or both. So, for example, you can have here synthetic personas to actually evaluate the response of a specific query. For example, if you're analyzing Facebook ads, you can either analyze the image in that ad and tell the evaluator, hey, is this violating the, I don't know, the policies of the company in terms of the allowed images, for example. So, the possibilities with this are endless, of course. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and run a delete operation. All right, so let's go ahead and delete that specific user, and let's see what happens. So I'm just going to run the command. We're going to see it here in real time. As you can see, it's analyzing in progress, and we have, boom, a flag that this is a high-risk operation, of course. I'm just going to click here, and we're going to see here that this is a delete operation and can lead to data loss, potential unauthorized manipulation. Then we have, of course, all the trace that we just discussed. In this case, the query took 3.4 seconds. And then let's go back to observability. We have the normal flows. We have the map where it originated. In all of these cases, I think from the same place, so that's not going to change. We have the live feed. As we can see, before it was a select, but in this case, it was a delete. And as you can see here in policies, we have, since I'm in monitor mode, this is not going to block the request. It says it would block because it's a high risk, it's 8, but it's in monitor mode. So we don't have to approve this request, right? So we can change any of these policies however we want. We can change the threshold, and it will catch all the incoming queries or calls or whatever the AI is trying to do. And the reality is, it doesn't even have to be AI. It can be just a developer trying to access data. In terms of the evaluator, we didn't have anything here, of course, and we didn't get a trigger into Slack because we are not showing any passport data, social security, or any of that information. But now you can see and get a sense of what this AIC protocol can do for you and for your company. So hopefully it's helpful. Thank you so much.